There's a major update in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, and Daily Mail's been covering it, but I really haven't seen it anywhere else, where there is a situation now where you've got a potential rogue juror who's going around, who's giving all these interviews, telling people about what happened during that jury room in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. And some of the things that he's been saying in these interviews have led the attorneys for Ghislaine Maxwell to realize that they've got a bit of a problem. And now, according to Daily Mail, they've received word that the U.S. Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has ordered an investigation at the highest level of the DOJ into this potential rogue juror situation. What is a rogue juror? What does this all mean? What are we talking about? So over the break, as I correctly predicted, if you guys have been paying attention to Human Events Daily, I said she would be convicted, that it was going to happen, and that it was essentially going to be a cover-up. We weren't going to get any information about the clients of the Epstein network. Who were these pedophiles? Who were these predators? So yes, we know that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were running the network. We know who the victims of the network were, and God bless them for being able to not only survive that, but then a great number of them actually went into court, and in court they were able to confront their abuser, and they were able to really take their power back. But who were the other clients of the network? Apparently, the DOJ doesn't mind about that, but here's a clip of the DOJ, of the U.S. Attorney there, talking about the conviction.
A unanimous jury has found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty of one of the worst crimes imaginable, facilitating and participating in the sexual abuse of children, crimes that she committed with her longtime partner and co-conspirator, Jeffrey Epstein. The road to justice has been far too long, but today, justice has been done.
But what is a rogue juror? A rogue juror is someone that goes on the jury, but they take in information and they use information, whether it be personal or whether it be exculpatory, inculpatory, that essentially taints the jury process. They have a bias, and they bring their bias in with them. They make it through jury selection, and this creates a problem. So what was something that juror said? Well, this guy's name is Scotty David. And Scotty David, who's been going out and giving all these interviews, he said during DailyMail.com interview on Tuesday, when he was asked, that he said he had revealed to the jury during deliberations that he himself was a former victim of sexual abuse. Now that's horrific and that's terrible. And I would hope that that's investigated and people are actually looking into what happened there. But that creates a conflict of interest, because you can't have someone who's the victim of a similar crime sitting on the jury for someone that's on trial for that same crime. It creates a conflict of interest. So you're coming in with a bias. And he actually said during that interview, during the questionnaire, they don't ask about your sexual abuse history, if you have any sexual abuse history. However, if you go and look at the actual questionnaire, there is a question. Question number 48 on the document does ask if you have been the victim of sexual abuse, because obviously that is a situation that the entire trial of Ghislaine Maxwell is predicated on, the sexual abuse of these children. This has created a massive problem. So her lawyers, of course, are calling for a mistrial. Now, the prosecution has appointed counsel for this rogue juror who admits that he swayed the jury during jury deliberations with discussion of his own experience, and the defense is calling for a mistrial in this situation. How this person was able to get through, this is another example of something that I talked about week after week after week, that the prosecutors that were assigned to this trial were woefully inexperienced. This was not something that was on their radar, that they were not tracking, they weren't looking for. This was a situation where, remember, the oldest trial lawyer in this, the oldest prosecutor in this, 37. The other lead prosecutor, Maureen Comey, the daughter of James Comey, his hand-appointed successor. Of course, he was formerly the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, where this is all going on. So we may actually see a situation here, right, even though it seemed so remotely impossible, where, because of this rogue juror and because of the inexperience of these prosecutors, that Ghislaine Maxwell's guilty verdict could be vacated and they could declare a mistrial because they didn't do their jobs, they weren't prepared, and this wasn't something that they looked at that they should have known about.
This is Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Turning Point USA.